Well, hey there everybody, it's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast, and guess what? You already know what. It's time for a new music review. That's right, a bunch of brand new tracks have come out. Obviously, I've taken the time to listen to them. I've got reviews for them. I want to hear your opinions on them as well. I got 3 this time around. I know I've been doing 4 for a while, but I'm going to back down to 3. While the podcast is up and running, it is indeed up and running. I hope you're watching it, but in the meantime, you can check this out. And by this, I mean me scrolling over this way, so that way I can remind you that if you like what you see and or hear today, remember that you can always like and subscribe, rate, share, comment, and follow, those 6 things that really, truly do help the channel. I really appreciate it. It shows your support for the show and you like what I do and all that kind of fun stuff. But maybe you want to wait a little bit to hear what I have to say, so you can also do that. Let's get started. So first up on the list today, we have the band Spiritbox. Obviously, they've been on a run of releasing singles over the past few months, up to the release of their new album, Tsunami Sea, coming out real soon, and the song that they have out today is called No Loss, No Love. And Christ, like, oh my god, like, this one just takes off almost immediately into being this, like, super loud, crunchy, and just crushing song. As per usual, Courtney's screaming is on point, but something about it sounds even more fierce than it usually does, so I'm really kind of digging what's going on with that. And it's just matched up with these absolutely brutal riffs going up through the entire track, so just, you can hardly ever catch your breath. There are a few brief breathing points in the song, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't last too long until you're thrown right back in with this over-the-top intensity that the vast majority of this less than 3-minute song gives. Overall, I will say, what an absolutely punishing track, seriously. Tsunami Sea is setting out to be like an absolutely take-no-prisoner style of album here. They are 3 for 3 with these singles, so I can only imagine how great this whole overall project will be, so can't wait to hear it. In the meantime, check this one out if you've missed it, because damn, it's a big one. Coming up next, we have Panda releasing a brand new album real soon, and they just released a brand new song off this album called Ends Meet. Panda Noah, I can't remember his last name off the top of my head, one of the founding members of Animal Collective, so it kind of gives you an idea of what you're going into for this track, maybe. Because from an absolutely brutal destroyer of a Spiritbox track to this really soft, like tropical, almost yacht rock or pop feeling track, like that part was whiplash. I know that there's no continuity here, there's not meant to be, but this is the order in which I review them, and it just like threw me for a loop. So yeah, you're definitely given a different vibe with this one. It's just a smooth ride, like all the way through the song. It's really easy on the ears, and it's something a little different as compared to like the Animal Collective stuff that I'm at least aware of. I haven't listened to tons of Animal Collective, but the stuff I have heard doesn't really sound like this, but you can still hear touches of it in there, you know? The style does feel a little novelty, unfortunately. Again, it has that like tropical yacht rock beach, soft beach stuff kind of going on in there with like the visuals and everything like that. I personally don't feel like this song has a lot of staying power. It's not necessarily a bad track, but I just don't think there's much there. And overall, that's actually kind of a good note to leave it on. It is a fun little track, but I can see this one being easily forgotten before too long. Hopefully the rest of the album ends up being something more memorable, more substance-filled, I guess. I don't know, just this one wasn't quite doing it for me. Finally up on the list today, one of the godfathers of goth himself, Peter Murphy, and actually featuring Trent Reznor of 9 Inch Nails, has a brand new song out called Swoon. He has a new album coming out soon as well. So this song is technically being released the day that this video goes out. It's being released on February 14th, but it was released early on YouTube, so at the very least I was able to listen to it and do a quick review for it. The song is called Swoon. We got ourselves a good, old-fashioned, old-school, gothic dance jam going on with this track. Very 4-on-the-floor style of drumming with these very low rumbling bass line kind of going back. They're like kind of soft plucking. It's not like too intense, but it is quite low, and I love the tone of it. I think it sounds fantastic. And then they have these great sweeping and sometimes noisy synths going on in the back too. There's just many layers to take in with this one. And for the vocals too, I think there's actually a couple of different approaches that they do take with this one. Sometimes it's kind of more of a straightforward, dark, poetic type of feeling, especially in the second verse, I believe it was, when Peter and Trent are passing the vocals back and forth and everything like that. I thought those were really cool. And then you have these other times that are like this Bowie-esque crooning that, if you've listened to Peter Murphy's solo project, if you listen to Bauhaus in the past, then you know that's like very much top priority for him because he's just in love with Bowie. So he does that and he sounds fantastic. And I should say that, yeah, Peter he sounds great, like absolutely fantastic. He hasn't really missed anything with this one. Age and multiple stints in rehab have not slowed him down or hindered his voice at all. I think he sounds fantastic. Overall, what an unexpectedly fun track we got with this one. Like, for some reason, I think I was anticipating something a little more dramatic. I don't know, maybe I was just anticipating that because it is Peter Murphy. But this is a great goth dance floor banger. I say check it out. It's pretty good. And that's all I have for the NMR today. Again, just 3 songs instead of 4. So thank you very much for joining me, hanging out and listening to these tracks. And if you did indeed listen to these tracks, please do me a favor down below in the comments. Please go ahead and tell me what you thought of these songs. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you agree or disagree with me? Anything you want to say about these songs? What new music are you listening to lately? Anything like that and more down in the comments below. If you would do that, it's fantastic. I appreciate it, and I love this discourse that we can have with each other, so please go ahead and do that. And you can also find all those places to do those things, aside from just leaving comments on this page. You can also find other places at ratetherecord.ca, that is ratetherecord.ca, streaming links, social media links, the RTR album rating chart for the podcast itself, and of course the RTR Club, $3 a month. If you do want to do that, you get a bunch of bonus stuff. You can go ahead and check that out over at ratetherecord.ca. Oh, and don't forget, the whole like and subscribe thing and everything like that. Gotta throw that in there for the algorithmic gods of YouTube. So like and subscribe, See, the thing was on the screen there for a minute there, so I appreciate if you do that. Thank you. Okay, so now for just a little bit of channel news. Thank you for sticking around and hearing this. If it interests you at all, just gives you a little insight of what's going on the channel before and what you can expect coming up as well. So with that said, the podcast is indeed back now. Season 7 has started. Its debut this past Monday. It was episode 125, and we took a look at Primus and their album Frizzle Fry. It actually just turned 35, so it was pretty much an anniversary deal. I said, yeah, probably needs to be done, so went ahead, took a look at it. I do enjoy that album very much. I have enjoyed it for a very long time, but how much have I truly enjoyed it? Well, go ahead and tune in. You'll see all the song rankings. I rate the record, of course I do, because what else is the podcast called besides Rate the Record? So make sure that you're going over there and check that out if you haven't already. And of course, the podcast continues on next week too with episode 126. And since I'm releasing this video on a Friday, that means I can spoil what's happening on Monday, episode 126. We're looking at Mogwai and their brand new album, The Bad Fire, released on January 24th of this year. I like to incorporate new albums once in a while, so this is one I figured I wanted to jump on. And the song off that album, God Gets You Back, I did a review for here on the NMR, I think 3, 4, or 5 months ago. It made one of my top of 2024 songs, so I enjoyed that. It put it in my head that I wanted to cover this album. It's out. I have a review for it, and I hope you're going to tune in on Monday to check it out. So other than that, I don't really have a whole lot more to be talking about. Just, NMRs will come out, more episodes of the podcast will come out as I'm just rolling along season 7 now. ILTS will eventually be a thing. I don't know, I'm just still pretty slow on that one. It'll get made eventually, I promise. Somewhere in season 7, I will make sure it gets done. But with that said, I've got nothing else to say, so one more time, thank you very much for joining me today. Until I see you on Monday for the podcast, go listen to even more awesome music. Take care, friends.